last short, I said that Sickening Radiance inflicts one level of exhaustion around regardless of save. Turns out, as you pointed out, I'm wrong about that, because the spell description was written a little ambiguously. When a creature moves into the spell's area for the first time on a turn, or starts its turn there, that creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or take 4d10 radiant damage, comma, and it suffers one level of exhaustion. Compare that with Ivard's Black Tentacles, for example. A creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 3d6 bludgeoning damage and be restrained by the tentacles. No comma. Which is a little strange, because the other franchise Wizards of the Coast is famous for is Magic the Gathering, which stands and falls on the basis of absolute clarity. It has keywords and standard wording to make it obvious exactly what each card does in conjunction with every other card. But D&D doesn't do this. Looking through the D&D spell list, every single spell words the if-then of what happens when the target fails a saving throw in a different way, some more ambiguously than others. Spells share patterns of wording, but inconsistently. Why does D&D do this? The designers have said that D&D is deliberately ambiguous because their guiding principle is rulings, not rules. Each DM can run it the way they want to run it. But Sickening Radiance isn't supposed to be ambiguous. There's no creativity to be inspired here. There's one intended reading, which Jeremy Crawford clarified on Twitter. None of the effects apply if the target passes the save. And apparently the version of the spell on D&D Beyond is worded differently in order to make that clear. But this change isn't errata for Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which makes me wonder whether Wizards of the Coast is going to do away with errata as it moves towards a more continuous subscription model. So last short, I said that Sickening Radiance...
How long could you survive in Project Zomboid on a completely flooded map? Today we're going to be embarking on this challenge with the Project Zomboid Water World.
Okay. Ooh, AP. Okay, I guess I won't be getting her stuff. Yeah, because I don't want to. And I don't care to. Let's see history. Yeah. So. Yeah. 85 search stuff. Okay, well. Let's get her earlier. Within first 50. Nope. 40. $50. 60. $75. Let it be even.
Don't worry. No one will get on you while I'm around.
You need a lift? Then buckle up, buddy.
I'll work with you until I get bored.
Time to kick back and chillax.
If anything's troubling you, leave it to me. I'll handle it.
Give me more manatos. I don't feel like it.
A wise choice. A wise choice.
Okay, so the only thing I need here is this. So yeah, not much lost. Similar situation. Yeah, here I need it. 600, yeah, great. Actually, I'm not going to exchange either. Because I don't care for much for Hormas, for better or worse. Mm-hmm. 3 chips. It's potential archive. I can get 2. Okay, which one do I want first? Is this going to be enough? Ah, is this anything useful? It doesn't look like it. I can get more of those.
You know I would never turn you down.
You want me to completely look the part? No way. Do you have any idea how much makeup that'd take? I guess this outfit ain't too bad. Blue bandages are kinda annoying, though. Never.
Mm.
Nice.
Pero es. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Time to play. Oh, really? Oh, that's cute. Something like that. Really, Bernice. This is cool, but like
Let's fire it up. Got a new ghost story to share? Want a glass of nitro fuel? Where are we going? There's no class today. Come on, let's show 'em what we've got. Wearing formal attire is also a form of training.
EU. No, this is like really fucking dumb. Okay, this is bullshit. This doesn't look like it has any clue what it's supposed to be doing.
Want a glass of nitro fuel?
You know I would never turn you down.
Got a new...
What?
Where are we going? There's no class today. Don't frighten me like that!
Which alias should I use this time?
Run into trouble?
Found your weakness. Let's make this quick. Okay.
Uh-huh. Pearl Horn not found. Okay. Uh-huh. They're resistant with this.
Don't get hit. Sure. Now, you're the prey.
Neat. No column. Enrich is nice, but the substance are not the best.
Put down a here.
Time for a surprise!
Please allow me. Found your weakness. No escape. Hurts, don't it?
Much faster. Yeah, no. Maybe. I don't think so.
You know I would never turn you down.
What's up with you currently? Yeah, everything is alright. Probably even. It's fine. If I want... wait! Oh, win damage bonus. New damage bonus type. 666, 10-8.
Old mod. Spawn End, Knox County, on a postage stamp of a house. A tiny island in the middle of an enormous waterlogged landscape, all using only the craftables around you to dismantle, rebuild, and engineer a set of wooden walkways to traverse the otherwise impassable game world, separated into little islands of dwellings by the high tides all around. Can you build out enough infrastructure to survive not only the harsh elements and exposure, but also roving bands and pockets of the undead, isolated to each home all around the watery landscape, hiding and ready to lunge to take a bite out of your flesh? As always, I have a few goals for today's playthrough to see how long I can survive. 1. Build my way out of my starter house to bridge a gap to the nearby buildings, finding enough food and water to subsist, all while fighting off the zombies I encounter inside the building. 2. Clear out a large enough building or area to create a habitat for myself to survive in, where I don't get trapped by the undead in an isolated corner or run out of food. And 3. If I manage to clear out a large enough area beyond my starter house, build the infrastructure I'll need to survive for the long haul. Farming crops, maybe on a sunlit rooftop, and perhaps gathering water from rain collector barrels or some other long-term method of survival. The only way to get started, of course, is to embark on the playthrough. Welcome everybody to Project Zomboid. Alright, we've just spawned in here as our protagonist. Just gonna take a moment to introduce our character. Today we are playing as everyone's favorite Project Zomboid. It's Gerald Williams. Today I've taken the traits of conspicuous, weak stomach, clumsy, short-sighted, slow reader, and Sunday driver. But all that is as a trade-off for cat's eyes, dexterous, outdoorsman, and strong. Look how manly and powerful I am in my lumberjack shirt. I cannot be stopped. We are playing on Build 41, and let's take some time to get a look at our surroundings. Currently, we are located in a house in Riverside, but it is obviously quite wet outdoors. The entire neighborhood is covered in water, except for the houses, of course. And what do we have on us? We've spawned in with just a basic carpenter's equipment set, and we have to figure out some way to get around here because I cannot walk on water. I am stuck. I am basically island hopping right now. I have to figure out a way how to bridge over to the other houses in town. Otherwise, I will be trapped here and suffocate and slowly starve. And you hate to see that. I would not want to die here. So we have to use what tools are in this house to figure out some way to get to the rest of the neighborhood, or we will die, and that's bad. All right, let's get started. What have we got in our house? We've got some food. We've got some stuff in the freezer. Ooh, fresh ham. You love that. All right, a little bit of non-perishable goods. We've got an oven, empty bowl and teacup in here, spatula and oven mitt. Nothing great. I'm hearing like some zombie activity nearby. I think that's in the other house over there, though. Let's just double check this closet. I fear nothing because of how, once again, strong I am. Remember how strong I am and manly. Yeah, there is... It really sounds quite bad over there. It looks like they've broken a window already, but I do not see the zombies. They're probably just stuck in that house. They are stuck from house to house. So that house sounds quite bad. We could build over there and fight them. Also, it might be good to get a look at what's upstairs here, just to get a sense of our surroundings. Before we get started building, we have got... that's not very useful. Okay, bathroom up here as well. Plunger, maybe a makeshift weapon. I mean, I don't know how good this is, but better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah, there do appear to be several zombies in that house. That is not looking very good for when we eventually do get over there, but I mean, I don't really have anything to fear right now. I'm just in this one house. All right, what else do we have? Oh, round neck sweater. That would be great. That could protect me from scratches, maybe. A duffel bag as well. I could equip that on my back to carry more stuff around. Beret doesn't really offer me any protection, but maybe a bit more insulation, and not to mention, I look like a veteran or something. I don't know why I'm so happy about stolen valor, but, you know, fear me, I am a veteran of the Plunger War of 1992. Oh, cool. A couple of VHS tapes in here. Survive.
Nope.
A wise choice.
Instinct, maybe that's useful. Keytar, trumpet, drumstick. Actually, the keytar would probably be a better weapon. Let's grab the keytar instead of a plunger. Alright, I could really do some damage with this thing, but unfortunately, there is no one to do damage to. Alright, so we have to get some carpentry experience and maybe get to the next nearest house, which there's one that way and there's one that way. That one looks quite terrible. There is a garage over there, though. Oh, we've also just got one last closet over here. Oh my goodness, there is actually a rifle and there is a shotgun in here. Okay, we are maybe much better off. I don't really even think I need this, but alright, I mean, free shotgun, not bad. Alright, let me just put some things down here. We've got to get some disassembling done. What is my carpentry skill? I am currently at level 3, so I'm gonna need some wood if I want to get to the nearby houses. So let's start by maybe disassembling some of this furniture. We've got so much to be had right here. I can't think of much other good that this chair is going to do me rather than functioning as a walking board to get over to the next house. We've got enough food in here to survive, but we're going to need to build over to other houses if we want to keep our strength up. Alright, cool. I've got one plank. Let me get another one. Chair number 2, disassembling. Done. Chair number 3, disassembled. And of course, chair number 4. I am ready. Cool. Alright, I'm getting thirsty already. You know what? Let's drink out of the faucet here, and then we will... Let's fill up all of the other receptacles of water with water here. And then we will just place those on the ground. We're going to have limited resources for this entire run. We better get as much water as we can in all of these receptacles before. Who knows about the water outside, but we got to keep this clean water going. I'll worry about that later. Alright, and now it's time to disassemble this fancy table. Okay, cool. We have a lot of planks. We have some just terrible scrap wood over there, but let's grab some of these planks. Cool, we got some nails too. I got the radio on. I'm entertained and I'm feeling good. And then I guess we can start making our way out to the next building. Let's see, carpentry, wooden floor. We can't really build through the window here. That's just, it's not at the right angle. We may need to go out the front door here. Oh no, the door is blocked. Could we disassemble the front door? All right, I guess I'm gonna have to do that. I mean, this makes me vastly uncomfortable. I don't want to have to take apart the front door to my own house, but I might be able to put it on again at a different angle. Oh well, I'm pretty good at carpentry. Alright, front door gone. A whole universe of moisture awaits me out in front of my house. My first step onto the watery depths of the neighborhood. Alright, we need to be very judicious with how we use up this wood, because if we run out after our first house, we're going to be in trouble. I got to get to this next house and then the house nearby, and if we run out of wood, we just can't come back. I've got a long table over here. I can disassemble that too. I got scraps from that. Right, let me try disassembling this fancy chair. That looks like it should yield a good amount of wood. No, that also didn't do very well at all. Okay, bookshelf. I got mechanics on that. How's my carpentry skill doing? Alright, we're gaining a little bit here. What about if we just disassemble the floor itself?
Okay.
I could reuse it out front. Alright, cool.
How did you know that it's going to roll AP?
Let me try doing that with a few more of these. Something I can't mess up as easily at my current carpentry skill. Oh no, I actually did get more rot wood.
Come on.
Another one. Well, I've still got a lot of wood left. Okay, that one went better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We keep messing up a lot of the floors over here. It's okay, we're almost at the garage we're aiming at. Alright, let me see how much closer I can get now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'm almost at the garage window next door. Take apart a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Drink of water. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We keep destroying all of this. I'm just gonna need to grab whatever planks I can get. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And alright. Garage door is locked. I guess I could try just destroying it, but I might as well get over a little bit further. The window's over there. I can't tell if there's one on the other side. 4 more planks. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we can get inside this garage now. Oh, look, we didn't even have a window on the other side. Now we can open the front. Okay, we have a safe place to sleep. Second safe place. Oh, cool. Flashlight as well. Nice. I can see around with this thing a little bit more. That's way better. Empty gas cans so I can drive a car over the water. I'm being facetious, of course. Cars obviously can't swim. All right, let's leave that garage behind. Hey, we got some more tools from there, though, right? Let's just ignore what happened to all of the wood today. This was a well-earned rest. At least I'm still fully safe from the zombie menace. I am diminishing in my supplies, though. I'm running out of food and water. Well, I earned a good sleep. I honestly don't know what time it is, but it is quite dark out now, so I should go to bed. I'm thinking, are you sure you want to sleep? Well, yes, absolutely. All right, I am awake, and it looks like we got a storm today. Day 2 has dawned. We need to use the last of the wood to get over to that house. We definitely need to go somewhere bigger. I just wanted to cover the garage on day 1, so we'll head over there where there's a bunch of horrible flesh-eating ghouls in the house, and I'm sure they'll be really happy to see me. A new day has dawned, and I am refilled with determination. It's time to get to work. We are going to disassemble some tiles. Let's see if this also somehow gives us wood. And in fact, yes, the tiles were indeed made of wood. These are not very good tiles, but they will suffice. Oh, awesome. We're getting slightly more success rate here. All right, I am starting to get hungry. Very hungry, to be exact. Let's check on our weight. It is, in fact, 1 chevron down dropping. We should have something to eat. Let's eat some pickles. We have to be very careful with our diet, though. I might just lose weight, but I'm a strong guy, so it's okay. I'll be just a light, strong guy for a while. I'll have an eggplant, too, though. What the heck? All right, that is much of the food in this house. I still have my fresh frozen ham. That would be more than enough to fill me up in a few days.
And now just go
calories. Let's keep disassembling tiles.
one of
I still
those
don't even really know what time it is. I'm just depending on the daylight, like an ancient person, to know when I am. All right, my boredom is becoming somewhat unbearable here. It would be great if I could get outside, because that would decrease the boredom, because as you know as well as I, boredom eventually leads to depression. No lie, in Project Zomboid, that has a tendency to happen, so we don't want to let depression get the best of us. Let's go ahead and walk out the door. I don't seem to be able to build in this direction for some reason. All right, I guess I've got to go out the front door. Never mind. I guess I have to build my constructions the other way. Well, I mean, there's nothing less boring than going outside into the rain to build a walkway over flooded waters. That sounds pretty exciting to me. Halfway there, and I've just got a little ways to go. I guess I could get to the front door or the window for the next house, but this one is going to be more of a challenge than before. All right, my boredom is slightly decreasing out here in the rain. It's so nice. Unfortunately, I am getting wet, but that's the least of my worries right now. It's so cozy in here. I just have to keep disassembling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll get the laundry room door here. 9. Amazing! It seems as though my carpentry skill has risen. Woo! Alright, that should mean I get slightly more success instead of all of this destroyed wood, which there is quite a lot of it now. Oh, awesome. There was even a toolbox down here as well. That's great. Alright, still destroying a few of them, but my success rate is pretty good now. Oh no, I'm beginning to feel a little sad. I have to end this boredom. It's going to slow me down if I keep at it. The only way to improve it is by getting my body outside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just make sure I can get over the fence. 5. Okay, I can't get over the fence, but I could disassemble the fence. Fantastic. My fence disassembling is going very well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're just about there. Couple more. Oh, I can hear the zombies now from the outside. I can't see it. Yep, they are coming. Let me go back and get my shotgun. It sounds like they broke the window. They may very well have actually already gotten over here. This is no good. I'm going to... Whoa, I have 3 shell boxes. This is no good. I think they might have actually somehow gotten out onto that one water tile there. I think it was a passable object. Well, I guess I'm shooting them now. Let me just open up both of these boxes of shells, and I'm going to put the gun case on the ground here. Oh, looks like this is more than a double-barreled shotgun. Okay, good. All right, let me see. Did they manage to get out of that terrible house? I am armed and dangerous. I don't think they got out yet. I'm gonna need... What? Nope.
Huh?
Step away from the window. All right, that is not gonna work. That is just not gonna work. We're gonna have to get one more tile over there. All right, last one. Here we go. And then I just gotta run off in 3, 2, 1. The tile is down, and they are not too happy that I'm out here. All right, 1, 2, closest one still didn't go down, and 3. Although there's another one in the doorway. Reload, take a minute and stay back. They were trying to lunge at me and take a bite out of my foot. He's still in there. Where is he? There he is. You're a dead zombie. All right, I think I can get in a second. This house was just so full of them. Oh no, that's no good. They definitely want to eat me. All right, 2 more. They got out. There's so many in this house, man. Another 2. I knew the shotgun was a good idea. I don't really even think I need this. How many more shells do I have left? 36. All right, let's remove the broken glass. There's still more pouring down. There's just so many in here, man. Another one. Doesn't seem safe to go in, though. There's 2 more coming down the stairs. 1 and 2. I probably don't need to do this, but I figure if this is the first house while I know where to run back to, I kind of need this. I'm just going to dump these corpses off. I can't be sleeping around these, otherwise I am going to get sick. I think I hear something else from in there. Hopefully the coast is clear. I'm just going to shout for a moment. Let me just stay away from that upper window. This is a terrible spot to come to. You see what I'm saying? They could be jumping down from the upper floor. Although I think that I riled up the rest of the neighborhood. Some other ones definitely heard that. Anyway, let's try it out. Oh no, and there was an alarm. I just gotta keep my back to the wall, back to the wall. Eventually, this too shall pass. Is there anybody in the kitchen? No, I have the kitchen to myself. That is actually quite nice. You know, I deserve a bushel of grapes for all of that. Let me just take a moment. Brief recess. All right. Everything's fine. Living room appears to be clear. Bathroom appears to be clear. Alarm is off. Very nice. I can hear something definitely growling out there, but I mean, in here, everything is hunky-dory right about now. All right, lots of more gear to explore. Looks like there are zombies in that next house over. I'm just going to shoot this one in the face because that's kind of annoying. All right, let's try downstairs. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to call out to them. Hey, come down here. I don't have to deal with you. Have a drink instead. All right, I guess we're good. Man, this house has a nice library. I'll be able to read all kinds of books and hopefully cure my depression from here. This looks good. Nice. Oh, big hiking bag. You love to see that. And they have a rifle. You love to experience the wonders of the zombie apocalypse in our very own America. There's so many guns to defend oneself with. Let's put this duffel bag down, and I can carry so many more things. Look at me go. All right, it looks like that they've broken down most of the doors in here, and this house has a lot of stuff in it. These people had quite a chunk of change. Lot of dough. All right, we will be able to build over to everyone else's house. All right, what problems have I got now? I am drowsy, hungry, and feeling a little sad. I could use a good book right about now. Maybe I will read one of these. I've also got this fantastic Valuetech Porta-Disc and VHS Breaking Points. That looks good. Let's turn on this TV. I am so excited to see Breaking Points. What is this? Let's play it. Here's your sandwich, sir. Have a nice day. Oh no, this is merely curing my boredom, not my depression. All right, it seems as though I've cleared out the zombies from this house. I'm going to sit on the ground to my fantastic TV program. TV magazine would lower my boredom and stress reduction, but only this book will cure my depression. One must take part in deep reading, considering the consternations deep lying within the human consciousness to overcome the melancholy that is the everyday ennui. We must venture through one by one. Sorry, I lost track of what I was saying there. Love me a good book. All right, my depression is disappeared. I'm only tired and hungry now. Amazing. Time to eat an entire pineapple. I just went ham on that. I almost forgot I had another ham in the other house. All right, well, I am tired. Let's see if anybody's got a watch. Watch. Classic wristwatch. All right, now we can figure out what time it is. Put on left wrist. All right, it is 20:40, so I guess 8:40 at night. I'm feeling pretty good about myself now. I think I am Feeling prepared. Let's go find a door with a door on it, and we will sleep in this bunk bed. Love me a nice bunk bed. All right, day 2 we've passed through. Hoo-ha. All right, I'm awake. It's still raining. It's 4:50 a.m. Early to bed, early to rise, you know, as they say. All right, the next crossing is going to be a lot longer. It looks like we've got a little garage over there, but this is going to get us out into Greater Rosewood, and then we've got that whole lineup of stores next after that. The rest of the neighborhood looks traversable, but yeah, there's a lot more zombies in there as well. It's time to get ready to slay the day. It's time to keep building. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still got a ways to go. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Disassemble. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We are getting so close. I can practically taste the house. Looks like we've got company in that garage too, but I mean, there can't be that much in there. I'm just gonna leave that for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it does look like we're getting some zombies in the next house. You know, I think I'm gonna save this. I don't need the shotgun right now, but it's time for bed. Tomorrow is another day. The 3rd day. Or the 4th, whatever day we're on. A new day has dawned. It appears as if the rain has stopped. Let me just look out the window for a second. Yeah, no more rain. We're just getting some zombie bumping on the garage door down there. That makes me slightly uneasy, but he can't get to me. So we have another row of houses here. That should be plenty of materials. And honestly, we're doing pretty well in this house itself. We are good in here. We've got a lot of wood to dismantle. I have just trashed the downstairs floor, but you know what? That's my business. All right, now I am ready to confront the undead. Oh, somebody isn't happy about me coming. What was that? Wait a minute now. Well, I guess while I have shotgun shells, I mean, I don't really want to deal with you. I'm so tired from assembling wooden furniture. I deserve a rest too. Let me just at least thin their ranks before I get in there. I'm lucky I had this shotgun to begin with. Right, let me not be stupid how I go about this. I'm gonna build this, but only in front of the window so that they have to lunge after me. Okay, you may come now. Reloading, and people are in this house who would do terrible things to me. Let's remove the broken glass. You know, I don't want to have to keep going through these windows. This isn't a safe way to go about this. I didn't see that coming. This is what I'm talking about. All right, let me try handling this one with my bare hands. My bare feet. All right, I am actually better at this combat thing than I thought I was. All right, let me just build out a little bit more here. Hopefully no one will jump out and frighten me. Okay, I am totally fine, and the doorway appears to be clear-ish. No one is in this house. I have conquered the 3rd. Well, I haven't conquered it, but, you know, I am getting by in the 3rd house, and oh my goodness, someone was having a beer and cigarette and chips party. I think I will take part in some of the chip eating myself. Let me just go here. I am having such a great day. Nothing to be seen over there. All right, let's drink a little bit more. I am now satisfied. Sounds like somebody's banging on the upstairs doors. I would prefer a weapon to this. Something that is maybe blunt. Do we have anything good in the kitchen? We do have a saucepan with rice in it. I will just pour out that rice on the ground. This is no time to be making rice. It's the zombie apocalypse. I am just going to equip this saucepan. This is the superior weapon to the shotgun. All right, they sound pretty unhappy up here. All right, I am not as good as this combat thing as I thought I was. Let me just walk down here for a moment. Yoo-hoo! All right, let me just see if they come down the stairs. In fact, they do. They do. You're a dead zombie. All right, this house seems to be clear. Let me just check on all of the doors. No one is in here. I am alone. No one is in here. No one is in here. And no one is in here. The house is clear. Amazing. I now have not only a melee weapon, but also a shotgun. All right, we have pretty good momentum here, but honestly, still stuck in these houses, we can't plant anything, really. I mean, for example, if we wanted to get up to the next level, we would need carpentry level 6, or we would need some way of getting dirt out on the 2nd floor, and that's just not going to happen here on these regular houses. Au contraire. Now, instead, if we want to get out a little further, I think we need to cross the street over to those rooftops. See how all those are nice and flat over there? As well as maybe to the Court of Justice, of course. There it is, Court of Justice, right across the street. Maybe we need some way of getting dirt and bringing that up to the rooftop. Either way, those are rooftops, and that is a better place to plant than right here, because I'm not going to get any planting done inside of this house. All right, time to disassemble all of the furniture in one more house. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And I am suddenly depressed again. That all too familiar feeling. It's okay, there's still plenty of books around that will cure my depression. Let me just finish off this house. Okay, I've reached carpentry level 5. Still getting that good old XP boost. And okay, I have... Wow, I feel so great about myself. This room looks amazing after what I've done to it. We got about half of the floor tiles. It's still not very good. I guess it's getting better with my construction, but what can I say? I am an artist. I have now become extremely bored and depressed. Confirmed depression right there. Amazing. Let me drink some water. That won't help with it. Oh, ice cream. That will cure some of my unhappiness. And it's bound to put more weight on my bones, too. I'm 78 kilograms now and dropping. I'm feeling happier already. I don't know about you. Time for an entire fresh frozen ham. I love zomboid eating logic. It's just perfect. Alright, I am completely full. My depression has increased to severe depression, but my weight has stabilized. Ah, a water bottle. The many wonders I will accomplish with it. I'm going to use my depression for good. Let me go out here. Unfortunately, I cannot make my way over from this window, so we've got to go down on the ground floor. Alright, and we've hit a tree. I unfortunately don't have an axe, though, so I can't cut that down. I'm just stuck. Alright, we're making our way across the main road. It looks like we're going to get to some of these stores in a moment, and life will get maybe just slightly better. But for now, it's off to bed. I'm going to have some beer, and that will maybe make me feel better. Nope, not really. Not by enough. But, well, whatever. It's something. It's better than nothing. Good night, Moon. Alright, my depression is gone from napping. My boredom, however, is still there. Alright, what are we on now? Day 5 or something like that? Oh, look, another gun case. You love to see it. Alright, let's bring that into our inventory. I have new options. Oh, this is great. I have not only my shotgun anymore. Well, the shotgun is pretty good, but it's nice to know I have other options. Oh, score. Digital watch. Now I can know what date it is. I'm so excited about this. Let me put that on the ground. All right, just grab a few more planks. It's time to keep making our way over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoops, lost count there. Couldn't count to 12. Guess I'm gonna have to start over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's all I got. I'm out of planks, and, well, I can almost see the Court of Justice from here. This is bound to be interesting. Oh, wow. Check that out. A car floating in midair. That is new.
Oh, really? Nothing.
Alright, well, my boredom and depression are both gone. Alright, I'm just gonna get rid of the rest of this house. Okay, we're back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The bench is in the way. Gotta disassemble. Whoops, lost count again around 12. It's very difficult counting past that height. We are almost there, though. I can assure you that. Alright, I guess tomorrow we'll make our way into the sanctum of justice, as it were. We're getting very close, after all. Time for sleeping again. Oh, this is terrible. I've accidentally started disassembling the upper floors, and I am going to hurt myself. Good thing I've done most of this on the bottom floors. Alright, let me just grab what I got up there. I guess I don't have as much wood to work with, really, as I thought. I just took out just a massive hole in the floor. There was no dirt foundation under here. I was mistaken. Alright, we are one tile away from justice itself. Okay, I am so bored, depressed, and exhausted. It's time to speak to whoever's in charge of the institution of justice. Find out who started the zombie apocalypse once and for all. Whoops. I'm so afraid of what might be in there. Okay, the doors... Whoa! Oh, this was not a good idea. Let me not shoot my weapon. I should have thought this through a little more. I am unfortunately quite tired. We gotta get to smacking them. I'm strong, though. 1, 2, 3. We are getting pretty far through, man. Wow, I didn't even notice this. My beard has gotten longer and more veteran-like, veterinarian. I'm turning into a seasoned veteran. Alright, I guess we can kind of... Well, I am conspicuous. I keep forgetting about that, except I guess I must not be as conspicuous as I think I am, because still a lot of them don't seem to notice me. I can make use of my conspicuousness, though. We'll just attract a few at a time and try to take down this building without going through too much ammo. Who am I kidding? I mean, I seem to be finding lots of ammo around. Maybe this is overkill. Try this again. 1. Nope, not working. 1. Nope, not working. 1 and 2. Alright, that's gonna bring him 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here they come. 9. Oh, that's a lot. I'm gonna lose count. Let's call that 12, 15, or 16, 17. Oh, I'm feeling like Gandalf today. You shall not pass. Look at me. It's like I'm fighting the Balrog. Ooh. Except I don't have a wizard staff. I got a shotgun. But I still have a long, gray, flowing beard. Oh, it...
The way to think of the Neuralink device is kind of like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch.
I'm excited to show you guys the most futuristic technology on the planet. But next, we're going with the $10,000 technology, Neuralink.
And really, I think you can solve a very wide range of brain injuries, including severe depression, morbid obesity, sleep.
Once the Neuralink actually works and you can symbiosis with technology and just download things to your brain, you'll be able to make so much money that it doesn't matter how much the procedure will cost. Anyone will be able to afford it, essentially.
It's just that the data rate to the electronics is slow. And that's what sort of the idea behind Neuralink is to try to more tightly couple collective human will to digital superintelligence.
From self-driving cars that come with a pretty big asterisk called supervision, to a Mars mission that seems to be mistaking Mars for the bottom of the Indian Ocean, the Elon Musk cinematic universe seems to be a lot more interested in selling you the trailer of the future rather than actually delivering it. And with SpaceX's IPO making him the world's first trillionaire, the pattern is only becoming more evident. Well, except there is one anomaly. You know, one company of his that people don't seem to talk about quite as much, and that seems to be showing up a lot faster than anyone could have ever expected. It's called Neuralink, and it's the company of his that makes me the most nervous. Because unlike his other businesses of escapism, like escape traffic, escape Earth, escape human connection, Neuralink doesn't want to take you anywhere. It wants inside you. It is literally a company that puts a computer chip inside your skull. And unlike every other Musk venture where the future is always 5 years ahead, with Neuralink, the problem is flipped. We are playing catch-up trying to figure out how far along this company already is. And methinks they're pretty far along. Because from what my reporting is showing me, I believe that Neuralink has been performing surgery at an undisclosed facility in Texas that has been classified as a ranch up until this point. And I know how that sounds. That's a pretty big claim, but I have a pretty alarming stack of evidence that I need to go through with somebody desperately. Because it is, I think, as bad as it looks. But before I show you the documents, let's make sure that everybody's on the same page with what a BCI, brain-computer interface, actually is and what Neuralink is actually doing.
Here we go again.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to see the in-depth reporting version of this, I have an essay over on my Substack, the Dre Dossier, and at the bottom of that essay, I have all of my sources cited. So simply put, a brain-computer interface is a device that reads all of the electrical signals that your brain naturally produces whenever you think. So every time you decide to move your hand or your fingers, your brain is firing a specific pattern of electrical activity, and it's specific to you. And you don't know what that pattern looks like. You know, you just think it and your body does it. And so where the job of a BCI comes in is that it captures the pattern, decodes it, and then translates it into something that a computer can understand, like data. And while that is an incredibly impressive feat, there's a part of this that understandably makes me very nervous. And it's the part that nobody in the BCI side of technology really likes to talk about, which is the who, what, when, where, and how of that data once it leaves your head. Because of course it doesn't just stay in your head. The Neuralink device is wireless, and so it transmits these neural signals out of your body and into this external device, and then from there, Neuralink collects it. Almost nobody is spending any time asking about who owns neural data, or what rights you have over it, or what happens to it once it's in someone else's hands or in their server. I mean, we are so far behind when it comes to the healthcare-ification of data, but just to give you an idea of how far behind we are when it comes to neural data, Right now, only 4 states in the entire country have any laws that even address neural data. Basically, your thoughts have fewer legal protections than your thumbprint does. And unlike your phone, which you can put down, or your computer that you can close, your brain doesn't have an off switch. Well, I mean, I guess it technically does, but you know. And it is this fight against surveillance and for data sovereignty as it encroaches more and more in our lives that makes me want to investigate companies like Neuralink in the first place. Now, before we get too in the George Orwell dystopian side of BCIs, it's important to acknowledge that there is a very real medical use case for this technology. For someone living with paralysis, for instance, or with ALS, a disease that is degenerative and it progressively takes away your ability to move and speak and eventually to breathe while your mind is still fully intact, a device like Neuralink that lets the brain bypass the body to talk directly to a computer is a genuinely life-changing technology. Because the people who are in the most need of this kind of technology are also the most vulnerable to be exploited by it. Which is why it's so important that this kind of experimental technology stays under regulations so that exploitation doesn't happen. That is the most sympathetic starting point for this kind of invasive technology. I often think about what Jonathan Moreno, a bioethicist, American philosopher, and historian who served on President Obama's Bioethics Commission, said in his book that he wrote called Mind Wars. He went on to write, "For every scientist who sees brain technology as a way to advance human health, there is a tactician who wonders if it can be used to scan the thoughts and plans of a potential terrorist." Yeah, the operative word here being potential, of course, because that leaves a lot of people vulnerable to falling under that category depending on who's pointing the brain chip gun at the moment. And speaking of which, I think it's important to know who's funding it. And I'll give you guys one guess who led multiple rounds of fundraising when Neuralink had raised over $1 billion. If you guessed Founders Fund, the venture capital firm started by Peter Thiel, ding ding ding, you would be correct, and we're all screwed. So Thiel, who also co-founded Palantir, which builds surveillance and intelligence software for the military and law enforcement, is the same person who is also funding the brain chip that he built the surveillance infrastructure to carry. And while we're on the topic of military surveillance apparatuses, DARPA has been funding brain-computer interface technology for probably 2 decades at this point. I believe N3 is their neurochip project as of late, and their stated goal is, quote, "a neural interface that enables hands-free interaction with military systems and able-bodied warfighters," end quote. But they're able-bodied. That's the whole point, that they can use their hands. We're losing the plot. But as far as I can tell, Neuralink doesn't have any federal contracts. That's just a lofty goal of theirs, I suppose, because they're actively positioning themselves towards military and the veteran community. And that is a video unto itself in the future, because, yeah, they have been really thirsty for veteran brain data. Now, look, to put a button on all of that, let me just say I am no doctor. And for the record, neither is Elon Musk. So it's always important to consult your actual medical team when it comes to making any of these kinds of decisions, because opening your skull is no small thing. Well, the first person to receive a chip was Nolan Arbaugh, implanted in January 2024 at the Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix, Arizona. And he has really been the poster child for all things Neuralink. Like, he's got a very outgoing personality, and he seems very funny and warm and kind, and Elon Musk has definitely been sending him around to different stages and conferences and kind of promoting the chip, so to speak. But as you know, what Musk likes to show you is the highlight reel, right? Nolan playing chess with his mind and browsing the internet, posting on social media, playing Mario Kart. But what he doesn't lead with or dare show you at all is the fact that 1 month after Nolan's surgery, 85% of the electrode threads in Nolan's brain retracted from the tissue. That is most of the chip in his brain not working. And by the way, it wasn't until the Wall Street Journal investigated Neuralink and had sources inside there that let them know that this had happened, that Nolan's brain had shifted around in his skull too much. Apparently, when they were doing animal surgeries for 8 months prior, that they knew that this was very much a possibility, and they decided they weren't going to redesign the chip anyways. And a little too much air got in his skull when they were doing the surgery, his brain shifted around a little too much, and the threads retracted.
When the thread retraction had happened, I was obviously pretty broken up about it. I thought that, when they told me, I didn't have very good control of the cursor anymore. It was really hard for me to get the cursor to go where I wanted it to go. I thought my time in the trial was coming to an end, and that's really hard. It's something to something hard to come to terms with.
And then Nolan goes on the record saying that he was worried he was going to get kicked out of the program because it didn't work. Like, this is what I'm talking about, the exploitation of these vulnerable people. This is the most important thing in his life that could change his whole life, and Elon Musk is treating this like one of his Tesla cars or a Cybertruck that can't go through a car wash. And then in classic Elon Musk fashion, he decided to fix a hardware problem with a software solution. Well, we'll just bump up the AI on the remaining threads and it'll be like the same thing. This is why your self-driving cars don't drive. You gotta invest in LiDAR. And since Nolan, on the record, 20 more people have received chips. I mean, which that number is catastrophically small considering that they have programs like clinical trials expanded through the University of Miami, Toronto Western Hospital in Canada, and Cleveland Clinic in Abu Dhabi and the UAE. And they have 2 separate hospitals in the UK. They have almost more clinical trial sites than they have people with chips in their brain. While we're on the topic, the UAE, by the way, has one of the longest running clinical trials of the entire program. After Arizona and Miami, the UAE was the next expansion because of the regulatory favors and the fact that you don't have to have as much red tape up when you're putting chips in people's brains. And that started in early 2025, and apparently there are no publicly known patients there. So yeah, that's probably true, right? Now, before I go into my findings from the Neuralink ranch in this recent investigation, I think it's important to understand that before there was ever a chip put in a person's brain, that there were trials on animals that we need to talk about. And I do want to give a trigger warning here for the next 30 seconds or so because it's going to get pretty macabre. But if you can stomach it, I do think it's really important that we talk about this and you hear about how these animals were treated because it's going to tell you a little something about the company and how it's been operating. Between 2017 and 2020, Neuralink paid UC Davis $1.4 million to conduct experiments on monkeys. Now, animals are par for the course when it comes to experimentation with medicine, but there is a responsible way to do it with oversight, and there's the way that Neuralink did it. So of the 23 monkeys that were used, 15 died or were euthanized. And euthanasia was probably the kindest thing that happened to them in that lab, because according to investigations, these animals had portions of their skulls removed and electrodes implanted in their brains. They were caged alone, many of them scratching at their heads until their brains started bleeding, and they developed chronic infections, seizures, and brain swelling. And the details only became public in 2022 after the physicians' advocacy group sued to release the records. And Musk humbly took responsibility and grieved the loss of these monkeys. No, of course not. When Musk was asked about it, he posted on X that no monkey had died as a result of a Neuralink implant. He said that every single monkey that died had a terminal illness and it had nothing to do with Neuralink. But the medical records tell a very different story. And despite all of that history, Musk is pushing to go faster. And on December 31st, 2025, he posted that Neuralink would begin high-volume production and move to a, quote, streamlined and almost entirely automated surgical procedure in 2026. And the last I checked, he can't even automate his own self-driving cars. And ever since Doge tore its way through the White House and fired everybody that would possibly give him oversight, the very few people who were hired back at the FDA are the only real oversight mechanism that applies to Neuralink right now in this clinical trial process. Which brings us up to today and what I found at the Neuralink ranch. And there's this address that keeps coming up whenever you search for Neuralink in Texas. The address is 2200 Caldwell Lane, Del Val, about 12 miles outside of Austin, sitting on the Colorado River on 36 acres of land. On December 1st in 2022, Neuralink held a public event called Show and Tell. During that presentation, their VP DJ CEO said that Neuralink has a, and I'm quoting this, double operating room in Austin, Texas.
And we've also scaled up our surgery. So we now have a dedicated, our own OR, in fact, a double OR in Austin. And this is just a stepping stone before we eventually build our own Neuralink clinic.
Yeah, 2 surgical suites already built, and the company had plans to establish its own clinic in the future. Well, I wanted to find those operating rooms, so I decided to check the state's permit database to see what kind of buildings were getting built. And so I searched 2200 Caldwell Lane, and 5 projects came up. And you know, when you lay them all out next to each other, you realize that what you're looking at is no longer a ranch. It's a campus. The first project was named Histology Lab, And it was filed in December of 2022, more than a year before any human had received their first chip. And a histology lab is where tissue from surgeries and experiments gets sliced, stained, and examined under microscopes. It's how you would find out what a device did to brain tissue in this instance. But I did a little research, and a histology room in a hospital is maybe 600 to 1,000 square feet. They're quite small. They're like little offices, because you're just taking pieces, morsels of something, right, and putting it under a microscope. How much room could you need? I also decided to look up the most extreme version of what a histology lab could look like, and so I looked up the Department of Defense military hospitals to see what theirs were built at. And even theirs were only around 1,200 square feet, and they're serving thousands of patients, thousands of veterans and military members. And so I look at the size of Neuralink's, and I see that it is 7,500 square feet. That is more than 6 times the DoD standard. It's literally its own standalone building. Like, it's not an office in a lab like it usually is. It's its own freaking building. And it was designed by a company out of Cincinnati called Immersion Design. Keep that in the back of your mind. The second project I read was called River Bottoms Ranch Barn 2, and it's described as a fully sprinklered barn for animal holding. It costs $2 million and sits around 14,200 square feet, which I think sounds like a lot for a barn. I mean, again, I don't know, so I decided to look up to see what holding barns cost, and a basic one apparently runs $20 to $60 per square foot. This one is $141 per square foot, which again seems pretty expensive for a fully sprinklered barn for animal holding. And that one is designed by the same people, Immersion. And the third project is called Barn 2 ACT Office. And ACT almost certainly stands for Animal Care Team. An office inside a barn is not a crazy concept, right? I mean, I used to ride horses growing up, and every barn I ever went to had offices in it, whether it was a fancy barn or just your, average stable. So that wasn't really all that crazy for me. But what was kind of crazy was seeing that it was a $1 million office in a barn, and it was 3,410 square feet. How much paperwork are you processing in there? And the fourth project was titled ATX-1. It's a 3-story building with offices, a machine shop, and clean room device manufacturing. The clean room is where the air is filtered down to almost nothing because you're building things that are going to go inside a human body, in this case, inside a skull. And this was by far the most expensive project out of all of them, which was $14.7 million for 112,000 square feet. And I looked to see who designed this one, and it wasn't Immersion. It was a place called Studio 8 Architects. It was a local Austin firm. Okay, so right now we have a different firm for manufacturing than for the animal buildings. So you have these two piles. And the fifth and final project that I could find is called ATX-1, and it's a third-floor tenant improvement. Now that one is claiming to cost $8.2 million for 37,607 square feet, which when I did the math roughly works out to $218 per square foot. And here's the part that stopped me, because I looked at the design firm on this project and it said Neuralink. I think the pattern I'm seeing is that the circle of who gets to see what's being built is getting smaller and smaller with each permit. And since I ran out of government documents, I decided to jump on over to Google Earth and go back in the history to see what the land looked like as it was being developed. Because each permit has a start date and a completion date. So if the histology lab, for example, was built between December 2022 and February 2023, I should be able to see that new building appear on the satellite around that time. And so I took the timeline back to right before Elon Musk bought it and use that as like my baseline, right? So in March of 2021, right after the property was purchased, it clearly looked like a ranch, right? It was green fields and a few old buildings, very normal and natural. It's a shame. But then I jumped forward to January 2022 and the property had completely transformed. I mean, there were new buildings, cleared land, and construction everywhere, which is just a little confusing, right? Because according to the permits, the first permit wasn't filed until November of 2022. So that's 11 months after this image of that building. That doesn't seem right. But after all this, I feel like I'm still not closer to knowing which of these buildings is that double operating room, because I can't see inside them from Google Earth. And so I did the next best thing. I looked into the people who designed the buildings. Immersion was obviously my first choice, since they seem to be designing all of the animal buildings. And on their website, it says that they build out vivariums, surgical suites, and cage wash areas. But their portfolio is quite confusing because it's showing art centers and schools and these community buildings, not really surgical suites or vivariums. But I was able to find their client list under Science and Technology, and it was a bunch of grayed out logos like NASA and Raytheon and the US Air Force and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, etc. And their website credits a woman named Chris Willis as the Director of Laboratory Planning. The website also says that she co-authored the NIH Design Requirements Manual, you know, the federal government's rulebook for biomedical research facility design. Okay, a little suspicious, but I guess that's fine, right? Like, that's who you would have, I guess, create those design manuals. Who better, you know? I mean, definitely not Elon Musk. That wouldn't be better. That would be a conflict of interest, in fact. A really big one. So it's good that Chris did this. I want to learn more about Chris. Chris Willis, tell me about yourself. Oh, I can't find anything on Chris Willis. So I went to the NIH Design Requirements Manual. What do you know? No authorship name in sight. And the closest profile I found to this Christina Willis is a woman named Christine Willis. They have very similar looks, you know, same writing, different font kind of thing. And their names are also one letter off from each other. Christine Willis is on LinkedIn, and Christina Willis is who works with Immersion. And the job is interesting because Christine Willis works as a broker consultant at Emerson Rogers, where Christina Willis works as a laboratory designer consultant at Immersion. It'd be easy for anybody to kind of mix those two up. When was this profile created on LinkedIn? Oh, in May 2026? Okay. Okay, I don't love that. Yeah, I don't love that. Call me cheap, but I'm not buying it. She's a credentialed architect. That paperwork has to be somewhere, right? So I pulled up the Ohio Architects Board and searched for those credentials. I tried Christine Willis, Christina Willis, Chris Willis. I tried every variation. I just had Willis as the last name, and I searched the entire country. She showed up nowhere. Nada. There was not a single credential for Christina Willis in the database. And so I went back to Immersion's page and I read through her bio again, and all of a sudden, it hit me. The same person who claims to have helped write the NIH standard for how much these facilities should cost, these animal facilities for laboratory research, the same standard that was the reference point that was suggested that I use to calculate cost. Whoever designed the animal buildings at this Austin facility also had a hand in writing the rules for what those buildings are supposed to cost, which, to my point earlier, seems like a conflict of interest. Now let's get to the important stuff, the animals. Because clearly there are animals on this property. I mean, you don't build all of these animal facilities for people, right? The question is, how many animals have been going through that facility? And how would you even find out? I mean, short of showing up to the address and walking in and just hoping they don't stop me, it would be kind of hard to probably know exactly what's going on there. But not completely hopeless, because any facility that's doing any amount of animal research does have to register with the USDA through a program called APHIS, APHIS. And it's through APHIS that inspectors visit the properties, they count the animals, and they file the public reports. It's to make sure that everything is just kind of healthy and sound that's going on over there, okay? It's something called oversight, you know, something that Doge seems to be vehemently allergic to. So I filtered it by county and state and looked for River Bottoms Ranch, and I got 0 results. So I thought, okay, well, maybe it's under a different name. I tried Neuralink, 0 results. And then I tried just the zip code without the names. No results. I spent an hour trying every name I could possibly think of, every hint that they've given us about what potentially one of the names of this ranch would be. But right before I was about to give in, I had one last thought. What if the registration isn't in Texas? So I took the state filter off, and what do you know? Registered in Fremont, California. And when I downloaded each of the inspection reports, I noticed that there are 3 different sites that were visited under this one registration. And so I don't know if all 3 sites are like different locations or just different facilities or what, but I do know that Site 1 had primates. And as recently as February of 2026, they had 13 rhesus macaws and 3 rabbits at that site. Site 2 had pigs, around 25 to 30. And I say had because it was last inspected in early 2022 and then never appears again in any of the reports. And Site 3 is the big one. It started with 3 animals in August of 2021 and grew to 80 by April of 2025. 78 sheep and 2 pigs. Now, 136 animals is a lot. And it's especially a lot considering that there was not one single violation in any of the reports that I read. And if this was any other company, I might celebrate that. But this is Neuralink, the company that already is obfuscating so much of this research, the same company in 2017 that had all of those violations with the monkeys at UC Davis. And so now you're telling me what? They've just cleaned up their act? No, there's got to be more than 126. You don't build this many facilities, one with a double surgical suite, with only 126 animals. So I decided to check the separate annual filing called the APHIS Form 7023, because what a lot of people don't know is that the inspection report is only counting what animals are on the site that day, like when they walk in. They do a count and they add it to the report. The annual report is a bit different. It's supposed to track how many animals actually went through procedures that year and what kind of procedures they were. And when I pulled those reports, my jaw dropped. Over 600 animals are reported to have underwent surgical procedures under anesthesia across 5 years at this company. And that is a disturbing number. But what's even more disturbing to think about is the fact that, technically speaking, those reported numbers are reported by someone at Neuralink or someone within the facility. They give that number to APHIS for the annual report. And then I saw 2 LLCs that were signed into existence on March 31st, 2026 by Neuralink's general counsel. Neuralink Texas Holding, LLC, and Neuralink Surgery Center, LLC. Both of them registered at 2200 Caldwell Lane, mind you. Now that's a scary thing to read, right? Because if they're putting Neuralink and surgery in the same title for an LLC, then the pattern tells me that means they're ready to do something that they've probably already been doing for quite some time. Now, DJCO did say that they were building out their own facilities in 2022. But if you want to perform surgery on humans in Texas, like outside of a hospital, that requires an ambulatory surgical center license, infection control, staffing ratios, emergency equipment, inspections. Like, despite what this administration might think, you can't just build your own hospital and then run it. Like, that's not how healthcare works. Because I found no such license on file for Neuralink. So why did they register a surgery LLC when they don't even have a license for the property? You know, and I've been thinking to myself, like, why has nobody caught on to this? How is nobody talking about this if they have? How has nobody stopped it? You know, I think the honest answer is not necessarily that the system is just failing and it sucks. Like, the system was never pointed at the address in the first place. Like, there is nothing that River Bottoms Ranch or Neuralink has done that would allow these guardrails that the state has in place to catch what they're doing. And everything is internal, including the architectural design. Like, they are literally forming their own government right before our eyes, and they're pushing us to the borders. And speaking of borders, imagine what happens when this technology makes it there. When the DHS calls putting a chip in someone's head a matter of national security. And if you take nothing else away from this video, I want you to really hear this. The man who lied about what was on this property, who registered his animals at a P.O. box in a different state, who built out a bunch of facilities on a campus before filing permits, and who hired a design firm with a lead scientist that doesn't appear to exist, who performed over 600 brain surgeries at least at an address that the government thinks is a ranch. That is a man who we're supposed to trust with human life. But hey, that's Elon Musk for you. You know, he's more of a dreamer than he is a doctor, because being a dreamer and selling the idea of the future is how you become a trillionaire, right? Doctors don't make nearly that much money. And so I guess I just have one last question. Elon, if this is where you're slaughtering all of the animals, then where are you doing it to all the people?
Today, I asked 5 of my friends to speedrun Repo with me, even though none of us have ever done a run before. But a few of my friends did have a lot of hours in the game, so we just had to learn strats, get better, and this was that process until we finally got world record. The main speedrun category is beating 10 levels of Repo, so that was our goal.
Alright, I will start it up. Yeah, important thing, we're not really going for too much money, just enough, and any extras you can find.
Yeah, like give her ball, give her go hard.
What?
Alright.
So we're just grabbing shiz?
Oh, are we already going?
Yeah, I guess so.
I didn't get a countdown or anything.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, I just thought you'd be good at it.
Yeah, my timer's gonna be off.
Yo, I don't even have a timer. Okay, that's enough.
Oh yeah, so everybody else, so if you're not by the cart, just take a random item you see, basically. But that's only first round.
Why aren't we leaving, bro?
Yeah, I do not know. I think
it's so unoptimal.
All right, good first round. Good first round.
Terrible first round, actually.
Yeah, how many people are on this 6-player leaderboards? Like
0. That's why we're here.
Wait. Can we just grab a strength and send it?
I'm just throwing stuff around.
Wait, what am I?
I'm driving a car. Oh,
so everyone's self-destruct now. It's over for me.
It's over for me.
Well, shouldn't we just get in the shop thing?
No, because then the tax man will talk to you. So if everyone self-destructs, we skip him talking to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so interesting.
So as soon as you like confirm buying something, you can just self-destruct. CJ, you're gonna be go and look for monsters to murder.
Last time I played this was in an archipelago, and I had like 400 stamina, and I really missed that.
Wait, that's crazy.
All right, you all gotta be slide, jump, tumbling.
I don't think
the way to get
the
around.
cosmetic boxes don't give you anything, right? I did all my practice before we got.
They give us cosmetics, bro.
Literally.
I'm marking stuff on the map, guys. Come grab it.
Ooh, that's right, you guys.
Oh, I don't know what this monster does.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna pretend it can't hurt me.
Which one?
Just bring that one straight over there to the thingy. Oh gosh. Where's our murderer?
How do I bring up the map again? It's been a while.
Cab.
All right. If you let me put this baby head in, we'll get a cash box that'll like auto-complete the next one probably. 5.
It's heavy for some reason. Why is this heavy?
All right, go find the next one. Go, minions.
Oh my god, it's the trudge, dude. I'm not killing the trudge.
Actually, you're our murderer, CJ. You gotta do this.
I have a stun grenade. How am I supposed to kill the trudge?
Drag him on the floor.
On it, and then smack it with the crate a bunch. All right, the second one's over here.
I'm gonna beat him up with this. That's not
He's just not getting beat up at all.
Right, yeah, it's not doing a single thing. Oh.
We need a lot more money.
He's looking at me.
Well, not that much. We need $2,000.
I put a big chunk in. I don't know.
Big chungus?
Yeah, little chunky chunk guys.
Good one.
Wait, there's something in this room. If you press tab, you can see items on the map as long as we've seen them.
I got a thing.
All right, that'll be it. Everyone,
solid.
Self-destruct.
No,
I'm killing myself.
Everybody who can make it back in time should actually go to the place. But
I'm out.
I'm like right there.
Oh yeah, I guess one person has to make it back.
Oh yeah, one of us has to make it back.
Do it.
That's true.
I did it.
Not
what is this?
All right.
Insert
look for
tax
weapons.
Tokens into shop machine to claim
weapons.
There's a grenade.
Feather drone.
Yeah,
gun.
I'll take grenade.
That's a crossbow.
Wait, what machine am I inserting this into? Oh, over here.
All right, sending it.
Yeah. Oh, all right, everyone die.
I got.
If someone else wants to take cart, I have the feather drone, so I'll go find a thingy with that.
I got the cart.
Okay.
Oh, I've got the great goblet.
Oh, this.
Oh,
I'm good.
Are you guys doing okay?
What? No!
I grabbed the orb of self-reflection and suddenly everything was confusing.
CJ?
I saw myself.
I saw my sick hairdo.
Oh, there's like a little freak in here. What the?
Well, while I'm dead, I'm gonna go get a snack.
Easy Speezy can finish both quotas with the fingers. So.
Well,
I don't even know.
This is gonna be leaving the room now.
Yeah, we're backing that up.
Far away.
Back that thing up.
First run. We weren't expecting this one to be amazing. We all knew that.
No.
Spiff and Easy Speezy, you should turn your mics off in game so that you don't attract the monsters.
I already.
Oh, true.
No.
Yeah, but also, am I a coward?
Yeah. Well.
Kind
of.
of. That really hurt my
but
feelings.
are you fast?
What is that?
Yeah, do we have enough?
It's a 5400 nor.
So much loot.
There's a tree.
Oh, we're ready. We're done. We're done.
There we go. We're out of here.
Right.
Everybody else, if you're not taking the cart, try to find one extra thing if you can really fast. Just that
I got one
carry
extra
with you.
thing.
I was just so far away, I blew myself up.
I got a calc. That's
Well-
a calculator.
Right?
You do lose HP when you blow yourself up and.
Yeah, but I'm not
around.
gonna take damage.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sure.
I'm putting it in.
Oh, sorry, CJ.
Wait, you don't drop stuff when you get knocked out? That's crazy.
Yeah, you're chilling. That's why I hit you on purpose, for fun. All right, so grenade and strength upgrade, maybe? Oh, there's two grenades. We should take 2 grenades.
Ooh,
Someone take the other one.
Oh, my bad.
Now we die. Explode! Nice. That's the good time save.
Good tag.
Wait, we're record pace.
That's the method.
All right, who's confident in their killing? You take the grenades.
Oh, I am.
Charlie, as IGL, I think.
Oh,
really big one.
yes,
I think you take the
CJ.
strength.
CJ, that's all you.
Yeah,
I
whoever
IGL this round. You get the strength.
Whoever
Did you
wants
see me with the grenade? You don't want that.
You did great.
You got a kill.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Clown horn.
Clown bomb.
Don't touch its nose unless you want it to blow up.
Go hunt Spiff.
Nor.
Find us something wonderful.
Oh, it's a TV. Somebody help me with this TV.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I got you. Let's get it out of here.
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
There we go.
TV.
And up and over. Oh, beautiful.
There's 4 dudes carrying a TV.
Love it.
That was beautiful teamwork. Beautiful teamwork.
Here, Fur. Here's a little boost.
Thanks, I needed that.
I'm coming.
take that to the next one. Take that to the next one, David.
Oh,
ow.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, guys.
Here, let's take it together.
Should I toss this?
It's a puppy! Hi, puppy. But you just have to pet it, right?
Yeah, you just have to pat.
Yeah.
You have to.
Oh, it's Susan! Watch out! Watch out!
Oh wait, who's Susan?
Sorry.
You kill her?
Pick her up, pick her up.
What?
Yeah, just keep picking her up and slamming her on.
Spiff, where are you?
I'm getting blinded!
It's Chica!
She hit me!
What is that?
She died! She died!
She's dead! She's dead!
For a new challenge, I'm going to play Kenshi as the weakest character in the entire game, Beep. Starting off when you meet him with level 1 stats and everything, Beep is easily the weakest, and perhaps for this reason the most well-known character in the Kenshi universe, since he's a wandering NPC who offers to join you freely upon your first arrival in Mongrel. Along with all that, of all the characters and species in the Kenshi universe, Hivers are easily some of the weakest with all their negative stat penalties. Among their many disadvantages, they're included the following. Hivers have the lowest limb health of all species in the game, so it's easy to lose an arm or a leg. They have lower armor and HP. They're also discriminated against socially by other Hivers in the Holy Nation, being seen as a lesser species. And overall, they are some of the weakest and most disliked characters of everyone in the game world, unfortunately. That being said, they do have a few weird niche advantages, like being able to eat rotten meat and requiring less food to avoid starvation, as well as being just slightly faster on their feet. But overall, they're extremely terrible at practically everything except being made to labor, despite all these natural limitations.
This is Horsey Game, and I never should have been given the authorization codes to modify the horse genome using CRISPR. Now my golden paper...
Hi, internet cook and noted heterosexual Adam Ragusia here. Yes, cooking can absolutely help you to attract a romantic partner, and I hope that I have given my overwhelmingly young and male audience plenty to work with through the years. I do get emails sometimes from fellas who report using a recipe of mine on a date night with things apparently going well afterward. Being a guy who cooks is great, just as long as you aren't obnoxious about it, just as long as you are sincerely trying to cook somebody something that they will actually enjoy instead of something that you think will impress them. When in doubt, center the other person's pleasure. Being a guy who cooks is great, but on this, the day of my 19th wedding anniversary, I feel both empowered and compelled to offer some more substantive tips on sex and romance. Actually, just one tip. The mother of all tips for young men to find young women with whom they are romantically and sexually compatible. Yes, this tip absolutely is also useful for boys looking to find boys and girls looking to find girls and grown-ass women looking to find women or looking to find men, or for trans people looking to find whomever they want to share their bed with, perhaps on a mattress from Helix Sleep, sponsor of this video. Let me thank them real quick before we move on. My wife likes a firm Spartan sleeping surface, while I prefer something that allows my lumpy body to sink into it a little bit, and we found our perfect compromise with Helix. We just filled out their quiz, our heights and our weights, side sleeper versus back sleeper, etc., and they recommended the Dusk Lux, a super premium hybrid spring and foam mattress that shipped to the house rolled up in a box. Free shipping in the US. You just haul it into place and break the seal. You get 120 nights to sleep on it and make sure it's perfect for you and any bedmates. Helix has easy, seamless returns and exchange. My one big tip for finding somebody. It is applicable to anyone, but this video is specifically directed at young men looking to find young women. In part because that is where my own expertise lies primarily, but also because young men looking for young women are doing especially badly these days. According to the Survey Center on American Life, 44% of Gen Z guys reported having no girlfriend or boyfriend at all during their teenage years. For boomer men, that number was only 20%. 23% for Gen Xers, 32% for millennials such as myself. There is a famous Pew finding from a few years ago that found 2/3 of US men under 30 are single now, compared to only 1/3 of US women. All of these stats are questionable and have been questioned. Many Gen Zers don't do the whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing these days from what I hear. Maybe their situationships are less likely to be captured in these kinds of surveys. Gen Zers are certainly having way less sex than prior generations of young people. That is well established. The Institute for Family Studies reports that 1/4 of US adults under 30 have had 0 sex in the last year. That is double what it was in 2010. Not that long ago. Something is definitely going on here, and I will now turn to my purely anecdotal impressions. I got into a stupid internet fight the other day. It was in the comments on a video where a woman was pointing out that so many of the world's most desired men, the singers, the actors, the pretty faces on the billboards, so many of the idols of hetero-female desire are significantly under 6 feet tall. In the era of dating apps with filters, women are setting the height filter to a minimum of 6 foot, perhaps imagining 6 foot to be about average, when in fact 6 foot is quite above average. US average adult male height is 5 foot 9 inches. My height. Some people comment on my height sometimes, and I find that odd, considering my height literally could not be any less remarkable. It is literally as normal as it gets. Anyway, the woman in this video was basically saying, look ladies, a true 6 foot is probably taller than what you are envisioning. A 5'8" guy might actually be tall enough for you, and if he is, lowering that filter a tick or two will enormously improve your odds of finding the man that you're looking for. Now, I did not get into a fight with the woman in the video. I got into a fight with a guy in the comments making the kind of simplistic evolutionary biology arguments that tend to be popular among the world's worst people. This guy was like, bullshit. Women are programmed to want big, tall protectors, and so the tall guys always end up getting all the women, and the women want the tall men so badly that many will settle for not being the only woman, and thus, sex is a winner-take-all economy that leaves shorter men out in the cold unless they are rich. And I was like, dude, no. I mean, yeah, like a little, but the world is full of happy couples where the man is not much taller than the woman, or in many cases he's shorter, and he is not always rich. Look at all of the totems of female desire mentioned in this video that we're both commenting on. Women love Jeremy Allen White and Michael B. Jordan and Tom Holland, despite them all being under 6 foot, and not just because they are rich. Yes, Michael B. Jordan is under 6 foot, no matter what his official bio says. Anyway, this guy shot back. Have you seen the videos of women meeting Tom Holland for the first time and laughing because he's so much shorter than they were expecting? And at that point, I felt that I had diagnosed the problem with this guy. This is a guy who pretty much only knows women from the internet and not from real life. Because here's how it works in real life, boys. Gather around and listen to Old Man Ragusia. Here's how it works in real life. In real life, you do things. You go places. You go to school, where you meet lots of women about your age. You go to a study group at the library, where you meet lots more women. You join a student organization. You join a band. You join a choir. Oh, the women I used to meet in choir practice. You get a job at a real physical place where you do real physical work with other physical people. Forget the dating app. Get a job at a restaurant, for God's sake. Between the front and back of house, restaurants tend to have a pretty balanced gender makeup, and it's a place that centers corporeal pleasure and alcohol and staying up late, and everybody is sleeping with everybody else at nearly any restaurant you go to. Working at a restaurant is like being in Fleetwood Mac. You get a job, you get involved, join a political organization, or a faith community, or a fan community. Anything where people get together in physical meat space, and it's not just a sausage party. When you just live life out of the house, when you do interesting things with interesting people, chemicals will react, often in unexpected ways. Back in my dating days, I had relationships with women who were taller than me, shorter than me, prettier than me, less pretty than me, all of that. Because when you meet actual women, when you engage with them as something other than a potential sex partner, when you work with women, when you create things with women, when you go places with women, you learn things with women, you will find that a woman becomes interesting to you, not just because of how she looks, but because she is interesting. Because you are invested in her as a human being in her own right. And then that goes the other way too. Yes, most people, most women care about looks when seeking a partner, but that doesn't mean looks are the only thing they care about. When you develop a sincere emotional bond with somebody by living life with that person, by doing things with them, that emotional connection can supersede a whole lot of other factors that people consider when choosing each other. This is my tip, the tip for young men looking for young women. Make friends with women. And not just so that you can hit on them, but because you need friends. Friends are good. Women make really good friends. And colleagues. And bandmates, or whatever. If you live an interesting, involved life with women, you will make pre-romantic connections with far more women than you could ever even have a relationship with. I was friends with so many women where we had an obvious spark between us, but we were never both single at the same time. You know, the stars never aligned, and so nothing ever happened. But the stars did align enough times. More than enough times. Perhaps too many for my own good. Just be in community with women, and nature will take its course, as it has done for all prior generations. Now you might say, well, what do you know, Old Man Ragusia? Nowadays, everybody meets on dating apps, and so flirting in real life is regarded as harassment. Bullshit. I mean, yes, the standards and practices of flirting have changed a lot over the last several generations, but one advantage of the female empowerment that you may decry is that most women feel perfectly comfortable making the first move these days, and so, generally speaking, you should let them. Let the connection blossom organically. Let it grow to the point where you both obviously know that something is going on, but you haven't quite acknowledged it yet, and let her be the one to first nudge her toe over that imaginary line between you. She lives in a world that is legitimately dangerous, so give her the safety of controlling that first move. And if she never does, do not blame the friend zone. There are guys who think that being friends with a woman will cause her to rule you out as a romantic partner. There is no evidence of such an effect. The far more likely explanation is that she would have ruled you out as a romantic partner no matter what. The fact that you are friends with her is incidental. Not everyone you like is gonna like you back, and you have to be a big boy and deal with that. Is it harder now for young people today to be in physical community with each other? To allow these chemical reactions to occur? Yeah, absolutely. It sucks. It sucks that we've lost so many third places, you know, a physical place that is neither home nor work, where young people can just be together without necessarily having to buy something.
Let me take over. Pretty lively here.
It's so
I'm here to help. Here comes the whirlwind. Leave it to me, Mint. Great. Let's finish this. Here's your delivery.
I don't offer discounts for follow-up services.
Whoa! That's something. Okay. Feels like I finally get the amount of those things that I should have been getting for a while now. Anima crit only once. Psycho, obviously not Psycho. Chaos. Nope. Break, double crit, not sure.
Time for the professionals to take.
Let's go.
Shift change. Don't make me clean up for too long.
I will. Pretty lively here. I'll deliver this one myself. Let's settle.
Time for the professionals to take over.
Sucks that we've created an inherently atomizing, alienating built environment where we don't walk or take the train in close proximity to strangers anymore. You are in your automotive or your suburban pod, safely quarantined from everybody else in the Matrix. That sucks. It sucks that we walk around with addictive screens in our pockets that offer some of what you get from physical community, but not everything. The internet is like a diet of a seafarer of yore. It has enough calories, and it seems like it should keep you alive, but it's actually lacking some crucial micronutrients that are not immediately obvious, and eventually you will get scurvy and die. The internet is like that as a social food. It offers some of the substance of what you need, but not everything. And if you only get your social food on the internet, you will slowly get sicker and sicker. Even as you cram more and more of it into your face to compensate, it is simply lacking in certain key nutrients. I don't blame you, my young male audience, for the way that you struggle to find real community with lots of other people, including women, with whom you might connect, even if you don't look compatible on a dating app. It's harder for you guys to meet people, but hard does not equal impossible. Ask any disabled or neurodivergent person about that. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. I do blame you guys when I see you talking about women as though they are animals, acting purely on instinct, as though they have no interests in men beyond what the ancient reptile part of their brain tells them to pursue. Hey, maybe you are projecting, my guy. There are guys who want women as sex objects and as domestic servants who have no interest in women beyond any of that. Maybe the reason she doesn't like you is that she can tell that you don't like her. You aren't interested in her. You aren't curious about her. You're not invested in her success or self-actualization. You just want a nicely shaped body that folds laundry. Well, my guy, if you're a shallow asshole, then the only women who are really visible to you are also going to be shallow assholes. Maybe you deserve each other. The rest of us have never needed dating apps or even bars to meet. I met a woman in a bar one time, and it did not prove to be a particularly good choice. Everyone else I ever got involved with, I just met by existing in the world with women. By being in partnership with women, and by caring about women beyond my own desire for them. Now, I will admit that despite my own neurodivergence and unremarkable physical attributes, I do have higher than average game with women. I've got good chat, as the Brits would say. You might have a less intuitive sense of what women want from you when they're getting to know you. Well, here's a bonus tip for you. Get off the internet, pick up a goddamned romance novel. There is this huge and rapidly growing industry that is mostly women writing stories for other women about what women want. It's a cheat code, and it's waiting right there for you to learn it. Don't know which book to read? Go to your local romance bookstore. Even in a modest-sized city like Knoxville, Tennessee, we have multiple such establishments at this point, including Good Girl Books, which my wife of 19 years, Lauren Morrill, co-owns with her friend Rayanne. Their favorite kind of customer there is the clueless dude who shows up and says, "Oh, I'm not sure what I should get. Can you help me? I'm kind of awkward." Ooh. They love that guy because his very presence in a romance bookstore indicates that he is interested in the inner lives of women. If you want people to be interested in you, you generally gotta show some interest in them. Be in community with women in real life. Eventually, one of them will probably look past your superficial shortcomings, and perhaps you will learn to do the same. Now, stop watching YouTube and join a choir. I swear to you guys, choir.
Choir. Really.
So I was browsing Twitter one day, as one does, and I stumbled upon something kinda weird. You see, BioShock Infinite had just had its 10th anniversary, so people online were talking about it again, mostly just reminiscing how popular the game was and how it kinda dropped off the map in recent years. Heck, I played it on day one and I barely ever think about it anymore. And that seems to be the common experience for most people. But one tweet about it in particular stuck out to me. It was actually a repost of a viral meme that had been made the year prior, and it goes something like this. BioShock Infinite was one of the most hyped games of its time, but its only lasting legacy was that the part of its main character was responsible for several breakthroughs in 3D animation. Almost immediately, this got me thinking. I had seen this tweet before. It was absolutely everywhere last year, with many
Data centers are part of our everyday lives.
Our data centers are the home base for Meta's technologies and services.
Data centers use cooling systems. It pulls in outside air and some water to make the air cooler.
Wherever we do use water, we are committed to doing so responsibly.
We care about saving water and building data centers that are good for communities and the planet.
What started as an announcement for one data center has evolved into plans for multiple.
A massive data center is suing over water rights to the Colorado River.
The river is also suffering from a historic drought.
Industry estimates show a single hyperscale data center could use up to 1 billion gallons of water a year.
Families in the area are starting to see their water pressure decrease. It is decimating their water quality.
Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
Making sure that we have that balance, those are questions that have to be answered.
Transparency regarding water use and environmental impacts is severely limited.
The latest reason to oppose AI isn't artistic or economic. It's physical. The robots are coming for our water, billions of gallons of it, and that number is only going to increase in the near future. How can you think anything else when you read the headlines and see viral videos like this?
I have another one as well. So this wasn't just one well. These wasn't just one family's situation. This is what the drinking water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable.
But are AI data centers really uniquely poisonous water guzzlers, on track to drink up both jobs and H2O? Or is their water usage more of a distraction than it is damning? That's complicated. The best indicator I get that a question is really good is when I'm asked about it in the real world, outside of the algorithm and the echo chamber. I was asked to make one of my most successful videos ever by my hairdresser after she learned I was going to Japan. I have been asked about AI data center water use no less than 4 times in MeatSpace, and after looking into it, I realized why. There's a serious information gap here, similar to a topic like nuclear waste. AI water use is not the killer argument it seems to be, no matter how much even I am willing to believe it.
But before we tackle the very complicated topic that is AI and water use, today's video is sponsored by the only service I currently use to help me sift through many different media outlets and see how they're covering the exact same story, like this one, Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that collects stories from all over the world and then categorizes them in one place according to political bias, publishing practices, who owns the media outlet, and more, giving you the all-too critical transparency that we desperately need today. Honestly, Ground News across platforms has the best cross-section of any one topic that I've seen. My favorite thing that Ground News does is serve me up stories from across the political spectrum in one place so that I can check my own bias and maybe even my own echo chamber. For example, here's another headline about AI and water use that's kind of spooky. Before I dig too far into it, I scroll all the way down to see how different media outlets are covering the same story. As you can see, there's 100 different versions of this headline, and many of them are falling into the same statistical pitfalls that we're about to go through in this very video. In a day and age where it seems like a lot of people don't read past a headline, framing and checking that framing is very important. I also wake up in the morning and check my blind spot feed, where Ground News gives me stories that I wouldn't otherwise see in a very curated information landscape. Obviously, practicing good hygiene on the internet right now is very important, and Ground News has been endorsed by the Nobel Peace Center for their effect on media literacy. If you want to try Ground News like me, you can currently get 40% off the All Access Vantage plan that I use by going to this link on screen in the description or by scanning this QR code. It is extremely refreshing to not be served stories that depend on how much they are emojied to. It forces me to actually think about what I think about a topic. And that's what we're going to do right now with AI and water use.
Why do data centers use water? Simply put, the CPUs and GPUs they run on are hotter than Jensen Huang in a leather jacket. No, seriously.
Alright, that's going to be it for the stream. Good luck, fun, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.